Hello there, welcome back. This is an extra special video all about Scorsese's The Irishman, which has just been released on Netflix. The Irishman's been around for a while. It was a project that was announced a few years ago. First Scorsese film starring DeNiro since Pacino, so it's been a long time since those two have worked together, like over 20 years. It was announced as a big project, a big important project, very expensive, very long, a lot of de-aging involved in it, and basically Netflix paid for it. No studio would pay for it, so Netflix paid for it. The studio was too expensive and too marginal for a film. And now, having watched it on Netflix, I've got it's been like really hyped up, and it's really had some really great reviews. And it's been viewed as one of the great Scorsese films. I think generally it's viewed as something really special, and I never saw that when I saw the film. I thought this was an older man's film, older director's film, full of a lot of stuff that happens when directors get older. Like they're less sharp, they're less focused on what they need to be focused on. This was the exact opposite of First Reformed, which Paul Schrader made last year. Now that was a film that was about 110 minutes long. It was shot 4:3. It was very spare, very terrific. It knew what it was doing and always went to the point. This one, I think, was bloated well beyond its running time. Did not need to be there. Had tons of special effects that looked fake, and didn't feel like it had really been worked out properly. I mean, the big thing going for it is that some of the supporting actors are good. I mean, Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa is really good. He starts off a bit loud and a little bit broad, but that's in the character he's playing, so you get an idea of who he is. And as the film goes on, you see other nuances with him, and it's a good nuanced performance. It's like, why wasn't this film about him? That would have been a much better film, because it was a more interesting performance and it was nuanced, and it was done by an actor who seemed to still be curious about who he was playing, what he was doing. It seemed like a really terrific performance, even though it harked back to certain things Pacino's done before, like the loudness and the showmanship. But there's a lot of humanity as well, so he also says that he was searching for new stuff and he was delivering some really interesting work. Joe Pesci's also good. He plays a very sort of a role that he's not used to playing for Scorsese. Normally he plays like the hothead, and this one he's very quiet. He's a person who talks quietly to people and gets things done. He's very good. He seems interested in what he's doing. He's very much very much into trying to stretch himself and not following old mannerisms. Those two are terrific. Harvey Keitel shows up for a little bit, for like 2 minutes. He's quite nice. He does a nice little thing. But I mean, again, as usual, he's barely used in a Scorsese film nowadays. And Anna Paquin shows up later on as DeNiro's daughter, and she's good. She has nothing to say, but she's a good steer. Like, she just approves of DeNiro and what he's doing. All of them are good. Other supporting actors show up and are pretty good as well. I mean, generally Scorsese's good at small parts and having good people play those small parts and giving a sense of the era. He's good at all that stuff. All that stuff's fine. But the problems of the film really are the script, DeNiro and Scorsese. They're the three problems of the film. I'll start off by saying I really like this time period. Like the Hoffa stuff, the unions, the Kennedys. You know, anytime that's in a film, I will watch it. I really like that kind of era. It's very interesting because it's very nuanced and difficult to get a handle on at times. And every time the film sticks to Hoffa, it's on interesting ground. But anytime the film goes away from Hoffa to the gangs, it's not that interesting. Because De Niro's character is not that interesting. And he's very recessive, and it's not an interesting performance. The only time De Niro actually sparks in this film is when he's playing against Pacino or Joe Pesci, and they're the ones that motor in the performance. They're the ones who motor the scenes, and he reacts and you get good reactions from him then. But anytime he's one motoring the film, it's just this sort of bland performance. It's amazing that these two Scorsese and DeNiro got together to deliver this character, because he's a nobody. He doesn't matter. It really does not. There's no character there. He's just this guy who is a working class stiff who starts to get up in the Teamsters and the Mafia, and he becomes a hitman, and he seems to be too well connected to a lot of events like the Bay of Pigs, and it's at least the Kennedy assassination and all this stuff with Nixon and Hoffa, and he's the best friend to Hoffa, and it's like, I've heard people saying like some of the things he's saying is too convenient, and you watch the film, yep, it's too convenient. You might as well watch this as fiction. Like, you just have to, because it's obviously, you know, it does not feel like it's the life of a person who actually exists. It feels like a fiction. Everything's too convenient. And even as fiction, it feels too convenient at times. And just De Niro's character, there's just nothing there to him. He's just this bland figure, and it just shows you how badly De Niro's fallen as an actor. I mean, you compare this to something like Once Upon a Time in America, where it was all, both films, this and Once Upon a Time in America, both have a time structure going back and forward in time. Both of De Niro, both of Joe Pesci. But Once Upon a Time in America was written by Sergio Leone, who had a great sense of pacing. The flashes back and forward, and knowing everyone had a point, and you were always moving forward with the story, and it was a beautiful story about these thugs. And De Niro was amazing in it. De Niro was really wonderful in that film. And this film, he has not aged well as an actor. He's playing a very similar character, this kind of brute who's kind of, he doesn't express himself much, but now all it is an actor not expressing himself much. And for the first hour of the film, he's under so much de-aging stuff that it's not really a performance, it's this like mannequin just moving through scenes, because he's been de-aged so much. Same with Pesci, and it's just like, we can tell these are old men playing these parts, you know, and it's absurd because the bodies are old men bodies. They can't move as well as they should, so when they try and de-age the face, the bodies can't keep up. So you can tell it's an older person, as the way they kick someone or attack someone is from someone in the 70s. You can tell instantly. The way they walk, you can tell these are people older than they suggest they are. And their age is always vague. I mean, you see De Niro in World War II being really de-aged as if he's a younger man, but he still looks like he's like John Wayne in Iwo Jima. And then he goes up to the 50s, where he meant to be in his 40s. And he looks like someone in his 60s. And the de-aging is terrible throughout, and there's this, it creates this film where everyone's at no man's land of these old actors playing these parts much younger, and it doesn't work. It just does not work. It's fake as hell. It's as fake as any bad, you know, makeup. It's just terrible. It creates a film that's in no man's land. I know they were trying to avoid having the thing where you'd have two actors playing the same part because they'd never match up. Instead, you have an actor playing a part as a younger version of the part. But it doesn't match up because he's too old, and you can tell he's too old. And it just totally messes with the timeline, and you're immersed in the story. It's just this mess of a narrative. And the script's just vague. The script in Scorsese's direction. Scorsese's direction is pretty much Scorsese by numbers. It's like, you've seen everything before. It's like, there's nothing, there's no curiosity in the direction. It just says, I've done this before, I'll do it again. I'll slow it down slightly because I'm dealing with older actors. But there's nothing, there's no subtext to it that's really interesting. They try and play around the idea that this is about aging, and this is about gangsters aging, and what do they leave behind? They leave behind a message of broken families and violence, and everyone, they all die off one by one, so they will end up left alone at the end of their lives. That could be moving with a different actor in the lead, and a script that actually creates a character that, where the dynamics are moving. But instead, it's a dull lead performance, and a character that isn't that motivated. And you told towards the end how violent De Niro was as a young man, that his family were all scared of him. But you see him as apparently a younger man, but he's still a very older man. And he seemed like, yeah, there's some violence to him, but it's never suggested there's a simmering violence in the performance, so that doesn't land. Nor does him try to feel sorry for himself at the end, or accepting that life's moved on without him. It's not there. Which was funny because DeNiro was so good at it in Once Upon a Time in America, but here it's just not there. So you have the last 20 minutes of just this meandering pity section for this character that you don't give a damn about because he's the least interesting part of the film and he's the lead character and he's just this, you know, annoying character that no one's put the effort into to actually characterise because you don't really know who he is as a person. He's a working class guy that is good at violence, he's a bit crooked. He came out of World War II and advanced World War II and he developed a cynical view of people. Okay, that's a start to a character. But that's all you ever get of this character. It's just like, that's his modus operandi throughout. At the end it suggests, okay, that wasn't good enough. Yeah, well no shit, it was obviously not good enough from the start of the film. And the whole film just feels that kind of, there's that vagueness that's just there. And also the typical Scorsese romance of the gangsters. Like he's saying, I'm not romanticising them in interviews, and then in the film there's tons of romanticising where he really seems to love these guys. No matter how horrible they're doing, he seems to love them. He will not go and criticise them. He will not look at the structure of what's happening, the structure of the union business and how it's been so corrupted by the gangsters. It's just like, it's all about the facades and the business and what it means to these few people and these vain gangsters who aren't that interesting, and they don't do it interesting with them to show the social impact of what they're doing and the selfishness. Instead it's, oh, we're going to treat them as if they're really fascinating characters, and they're not. They don't work that way. So the film is romanticising people you shouldn't, but doesn't have the guts to really criticise them. So you're left with this sort of meandering film that gets by on charm of certain actors and momentum. It's always moving really fast, but there's lots of scenes where nothing's actually happening. It's just scenes of things going on. And the thing is, every time Pacino's in it, it shows up how bad the rest of the film is because he's dynamic, he's interested, he's still hungry as an actor to do something really good, and he's investing in all the performance and dealing with all the different actors and reacting to everybody. He's really alive and really into it, and he really makes De Niro look weak in comparison. I mean, the whole thing in Heat was always like, oh, De Niro handled Pacino really well by being understated and letting Pacino go off on one. Which, there were two different characters anyway, so that was Pacino's character. But in this one, it's definitely the opposite way around. Pacino is the life force of this film. De Niro is just this, you know, supporting actor who's meant to be the lead actor. He's just not there, he's just not interested. This is almost like the death knell De Niro now. I mean, you can't even do something good in a Scorsese film. And Scorsese should have recognised there's something wrong, because I've no idea. It's the same thing that happened in Casino. I like Casino, but De Niro in Casino isn't the most dynamic character. Everyone else has to be dynamic with him to get the thing moving. And one thing you realise with Scorsese is De Niro was never his lead gangster in any gangster movies. Basically, Mean Streets was Harvey Keitel with De Niro as the firebrand. Goodfellas, it was Ray Liotta with De Niro as the quiet one in the background. De Niro only became the main gangster in Casino, and that was where the character didn't work so well. And this one, they're doing the same mistake again. Character doesn't work so well. He should have been the background character, and Pacino should have been the central character. It would have worked better. Because when Pacino's playing Hoffa and Hoffa finally dies, that's where any of the human interest is. Pacino's Hoffa is a very flawed, vain character, but that's where the interest actually is in any of the scenes. Like what's happening to Teamsters, how's he reacting, how's the gangsters taking it, or basically how's Joe Pesci taking it. That's the interest, and De Niro's just the background player meant to focus on, but he's not an interesting guy. He's just this person who's vaguely characterised and who they haven't worked out how violent is it meant to be, how repressed. they haven't worked at the basics. They just have say just do your mannerisms. That's fine. It's like it's a non-entity as your lead, and that's very difficult to watch and be inspired by as a story. Especially 3.5 hours where all you're doing is you're actually starting to look at De Niro's bad habits like more and more, and it's like, make this a Jimmy Hoffa movie, please. Just give Pacino the lead. Just cut the De Niro stuff out, because it's really working in fumes. And the whole de-aging and the other acting thing is just like all these actors who are meant to pass time over the years. They just always just the same plastic look to them. It just makes this sort of mess of a movie. And I was hoping to like this film. I'm always hoping, no matter how Scorsese's kind of feel of let a lot of his fans down over the years with making a lot of self-indulgent garbage, I was hoping De Niro and him would come back and do something really good. When the reviews came out, I was hoping that, oh yes, this is going to be good. And you saw the film and it was like, why is this getting good reviews? This is not good. It's decent enough. It's like a 3-star film out of 5 if you're going to go that way. But most of that is Pacino. I mean, anytime the Pacino makes up from like a third of the way in till about 2/3 of the way through its Pacino section, that's the best section of the film. And the stuff on the other side of it could be cut and chucked out. And half the scenes in that section could be gone. Because it's anytime, it's just like the De Niro stuff is just like not there. So yeah, I was very disappointed. I mean, Scorsese has done a few decent films recently, like Wolf of Wall Street, which was way too long, and you know, Hugo, which I liked. I mean, this is much more like Silence, where the silence was taking an interesting subject and then stretching it way too long and having a lead actor that doesn't quite deliver what the project needs. It's the same problem again, and it's like twice in a row this has happened now, and it's just like Scorsese really needs to work with better writers and needs to be told no, because this really needed to be like 2 hours 20. This needed to lose an hour. It really needed to lose a lot of time, because it just did not it did not look like an epic film. It felt like a TV show that was extended, like an epic episode of TV. It did not feel like a film. It felt like it was 185-1, and good production values, but there were production values you've seen TV shows. It just felt like it wasn't. It felt like a prequel to The Sopranos or something. It just did not feel like it was unique and different in any way. It just felt like an old man's film doing the same old thing again and again. But unlike old men films from someone like Uzu, who'd learned a lot and who was bringing their age into it, this one felt like someone bringing his immaturity into it, because he wasn't tough enough to actually say, okay, these are the problems in society at that time. Let's really go for it. Let's really have a dynamic character and really go for the problems of violence within men of this type and how that affected society. Instead, it's like, we'll just do the same tropes and that'll be enough, that'll be good enough. No one needs to think too much. So yeah, this one to me was pretty much the disappointment of the year. You know, there's been much worse films this year, but this is probably the biggest disappointment. It just did not deliver what it could have. And it's such good material to work with, like the 50s and 60s, the Teamsters and the mob. I mean, that's a great subject, but it stuck to a character that wasn't worthy of it. They needed to have other characters who really would have developed it, you know. And it's meant to be a tragedy, De Niro's character, because he's a close friend of Hoffa and he's the one who has to kill him, spoilers. But you don't feel it because De Niro, you see tears in his eyes sometimes, you see tension with him, but it comes too little too late, and it feels like a fob to the audience in some ways. It's like, yeah, now we need to have some sympathy and some drama with this character, and it's like, that should have happened like 2 hours ago and you should have been building since then. But no, it wasn't there, so a big disappointment for me. The Irishman, lower expectations, because it's not that great. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I wasn't ranting too much, but this was a big disappointment for me. Well, I'll see you next week with some other videos. Bye.